It's Friday, February 19th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're talking about The Substitute. And you may have noticed that I'm standing because I literally get so excited about this episode, I don't think I can talk about it and sit down. So we open up in the Flash Sideways world, and it appears that life does not finish kicking John Locke. Someone comes to help him, and it's not any someone, it's Helen. When Helen was talking to him about wedding plans, she talked about inviting his father. So clearly they wouldn't want his father to come if he was responsible for shoving John out of an 8-story building. The question that plagued us for so long, how did John Locke get into a wheelchair, resurfaces. Locke still works at the box company, and Randy is still his boss. Randy also still happens to be a big tool bag.
You're fired.
He goes to the parking lot. He can't get into his van because of a yellow Hummer, which we'd already seen Hurley own, but I didn't put two and two together quick enough.
Tell him that Hugo said to hook you up with the new job.
The supervisor is Rose. Locke's like, you don't know what real pain and hardship is. And Rose is like, you want to bet, sucker? I have terminal cancer. In the background behind Locke, there is this poster with a guy on it who looks an awful lot like Desmond. He says, I'm tired of trying to imagine my life out of this chair. There is no such thing as miracles. We then go to Locke coaching a PE class, and we learn that he is a teacher, and they're going to talk about chapter 4. Locke and the number 4 are a very important part of this episode, and we learn that he is a substitute when he talks to the school's European history teacher, who happens to be Benjamin Linus. What messed up universe are we in where Ben Linus is allowed anywhere around children? In our island universe, we have a great monster POV to start off the episode. Richard asks the fake Locke, or Flock, or rather, I've heard an even better name for this man who is not Locke. I've heard the Loch Ness Monster, which I think is fantastic, and I'm going to use it. Loch Ness Monster behind Richard sees this boy wearing others-looking clothing, and his hands are covered in blood. Alana, then having learned that Jacob's body was kicked into the fire, goes to the pit, takes out a pouch, and collects ash. Sawyer says, who the hell are you? Because I know John Locke, and he was scared of everything. The Loch Ness Monster says, I am the person who can tell you why you are here. Sawyer and the Loch Ness Monster are walking, and they both see that little boy.
Know the rules. Can't kill him.
Don't tell me what I can't do. The one I particularly am responding to is that it's Aaron. He couldn't be raised by another. He had to be with Claire so she could exude her positive influence on him. Loch Ness Monster says, what I am is trapped, and I have been trapped for so long now, I have forgotten what it's like to feel free. Loch Ness Monster used to be a man. Maybe that was the man we saw in black in the season 5 finale, and he's forced to take this smoke form as sort of a punishment. We're supposed to believe that Jacob is the good guy and the smoke monster is the bad guy. I wouldn't be surprised if a switcheroo happens and we learn that the smoke monster is essentially the good guy here being punished, and Jacob is kind of the snake in the book of Genesis. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if that switch didn't happen. Jacob's the man in white, the man in black, good and evil. I mean, that's just the great complexities of Lost, where I could see both scenarios working out. Ben gives this kind of heartfelt eulogy saying John Locke was a better man than I will ever be, and I'm so sorry that I killed him. There is a giant scale. One side has a black rock and the other side has a white rock. The Loch Ness Monster takes the white rock and throws it out into the ocean. He takes him deeper into the cave and he points at something and he says, that's why you're here. And Sawyer takes the torch and we see this giant kind of curved rock, and on it is written so many names, and most of them are scratched out, but you can see some of them. The first one I saw was Ford with the number 15 by it, and then I saw Gerard with the number 16 by it, and then I saw Reyes with the number 8 by it. Oh my god, the numbers are people. When I first watched it, I said it much, much louder. In fact, I kind of screamed it like a little girl. 4 is Locke, 8 is Hurley, 15 is Sawyer, 16 is Saeed, 23 is Jack, when you think of the fact that Psalm 23 is the Lord is my shepherd, and 42 is Quan. And when you take that information and combine it with the information we learned in the alternate reality game between seasons 2 and 3, where the numbers make up the Valenzetti equation, which will predict the end of the world or save humanity as we know it, it gets very exciting. You were a candidate, along with others, to take over the job. Loch Ness Monster says you have 3 options. 1, you can see how this all plays out and potentially have your name crossed off. 2, you can accept the job and become the protector of the island, but I'm telling you right now, it's just an island. It doesn't need protecting. 3, you and I get the hell out of Dodge and off of this island. And Sawyer, it seems anyway, has decided upon option 3. And that's where the substitute ends. I mean, season 6. We're ready. Like, it's begun. Let's go. Next week's episode is called Lighthouse, so we'll be back to talk about it next week. See you guys then.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
It says soulmate. Delicious. I'm thoroughly dazzled. That's a terrible joke. Terrible joke that only you and I are gonna find funny.